Welcome to the Puck Drops here. I am your host, Peter Fivefoot, of course, and I have a special video for you guys today, which should premiere just before March Madness starts. It is my March Madness bracket uh, for the, the March Madness tournament of college basketball. Every year, of course, except for last, 64 teams after the first four get in and battle for the national championship in college basketball's holy war. And before we get into any of that, just wanted to say to everyone, please like this video, subscribe, share it, comment down below, and help me grow this channel as much as I can as we continue to do great work here. So, let's go through first and talk about exactly what March Madness is and how it works. March Madness is the tournament for college basketball, and if you guys already know this, it's whatever, but it's just good for newcomers as well. It's the tournament for college basketball in Division One in the United States, and top 64 teams basically in the nation, but also teams that have won their division that aren't necessarily looked at as great, get into a tournament to play for the national championship, and there are four different divisions: Midwest, West, East, and South. The number one team in the division is a one seed. They play 16, two plays 15, three plays 14, four plays 12, five plays 11, seven plays 10, eight plays 9, and then the lowest seeds they attack each other until you get to fight each other in the bracket until you get to the Elite Eight, and then whoever wins that division will then go to the Final Four, and they'll play against each other. And the winner of those two games will go to the national championship, and the winner wins basketball's greatest prize. Small school teams pretty much never get there, but they can make upsets in the first day, and some crazy things have happened. So I'd like to see how that could go. And also a bunch of other teams in the divisions that have gone through. So let's talk about the first four as before we get into my bracket picks. The first four is also something that happened last night, and it's like March Madness, but it's not the same. Teams for the 11 seed and the 16 seed are basically picked to go to March Madness, but there's not enough spots, so they have to do battle with their own one game. Well, that's the other thing. March Madness is one game elimination, but in these games they're also one game elimination, and they happened the day before, and that was yesterday and Thursday. So Texas Southern beat Mount St. Mary's 60-52. They are going to be battling the Michigan Wolverines, my team. Drake beat Wichita State 53-52. They will battle Southern California. Norfolk State beat Appalachian State 54-53. And in overtime, a game I streamed the end of last night, UCLA came back and won in overtime 86-80 over Michigan State. They'll play UCLA, and Norfolk State is going to play the number one team in the country. They're one seed just like three other teams, but they have the best record in the country. They didn't lose a game, and they scored more points than the other team in the league that in college basketball that also didn't lose a game, and that being Baylor. So let's go to the brackets. We go to the first round. Gonzaga and Norfolk State. Gonzaga entered the tournament for the first time ever in 1994, I believe, and pulled off as like a 14 seed several upsets to get to the Final Four area, but did not win. But since that point, have won the division almost every single time they've been there. They've been absolutely dominant. They went to the national championship game a few years ago and lost, but came really close to winning. And this year, they had the best team in college basketball without a question, and didn't lose a single game. And scored the most points and the best defense of any basketball team. Gonzaga and Norfolk State. I think in this game, Norfolk State is 16 seed. We just played yesterday. I say Norfolk State will find a way to battle and make it look close in the first half, but I think Gonzaga runs away with it as they get their game in the second. I say 92 to 63. Oklahoma and Missouri. Oklahoma beats Missouri. They just have a bit more depth. Oklahoma wins 71 to 68. Creighton, also in that bracket, battles the University of California, Santa Barbara, and Creighton is too much. 68 to 52. Creighton wins that, the 5 seed. Keep on going with the top seed domination. Still, because it was canceled last year and they won before, they are still the defending champions. The University of Virginia, the Cavaliers against Ohio, win a close one, 66 to 63. First upset of the day, the 11 seed Drake, who won yesterday by 1 against Wichita State, upsets Southern California, 78 to 70. Kansas beats Eastern Washington, and this is all in the West bracket. Kansas beats Eastern Washington 87 to 70. Virginia Christian, VCU's made a bunch of great tournament appearances in the past, upsets Oregon 65 to 55. And in the last team in that bracket, Iowa beats Georgia Christian. Iowa, the 2 seed. 70 to 57. In the East, Michigan battling against Texas Southern. You know what? Let's leave that one, since that is my team. Let's leave that division for last in the East. For the South, also undefeated, Baylor against Hartford. $89 to 76. Baylor. It's Hartford's first tournament appearance in school history, but they don't get there. It's also the first time we've seen a national television cover a Hartford playoff game. This is sad. I'm sorry for the city of Hartford, but this is the first time we've seen national television cover a Hartford sports team's playoff game since, I believe, 1993, when the Hartford Whalers went to the Stanley Cup playoffs against the... it was a 92 against Pittsburgh. That's a long time for Hartford sports. Wisconsin. Everybody's talking about North Carolina. Going to pull up all the stops, but I say it's going to be Wisconsin with the upset, and they win 63 to 62. Winthrop upsets Villanova 69 to 65. Purdue beats North Texas 75 to 58. Texas Tech beats Utah State. They are the not the defending champions, but they got to the national championship the last time we had the March Madness tournament. Texas Tech wins 71 to 63. Arkansas thrashes Colgate 80 to 60. Florida downs Virginia Tech in overtime, and that's the opening game. 85 to 81. Hold on one second, guys. I'm just setting something up. Okay. And in the last team in the bracket, Ohio State and or you just gotta figure out Oral Roberts. Ohio State wins 68 to 49. So that is the end of that bracket, that side of the bracket. To the Midwest. Illinois Illinois will play against Drexel. Illinois winning 76 to 54, knocking down the Dragons. Georgia Tech upsetting Loyola Chicago, although I still don't know how much that is an upset because Loyola Chicago is still seen as a Cinderella team, but seeding wise they would be the upset team. Loyola Chicago, remember the last time they were in the tournament, they won their conference in a very low seed, went all the way to the Final Four and lost to Michigan. But Georgia Tech wins 60 to 56. Tennessee downs Oregon State 68 to 58. Oklahoma State downs Liberty 80 to 69. Syracuse upsets San Diego State in overtime 65 to 57. West Virginia beats Moorhead 75 to 70. 75 to 63. Clemson beats Rutgers. Rutgers' first time in the tournament for a long time, and Clemson defeats the Scarlet Knights, the only New Jersey, one of the two New Jersey teams, Liberty being the other. No, Liberty's from Virginia. The only New Jersey team. Clemson beats Rutgers 65 to 59. And Houston crashes the party against Cleveland State 63 to 49. Out of the East. Alabama, number 2 seed against Iona. Alabama wins 67 to 64. Maryland upsets Connecticut 62-58. Texas downs Alcorn University 72-59. No, 72-60. BYU takes down UCLA 65-51. 52. 65-52. Florida State is upset by North Carolina Greensboro. North Carolina Greensboro winning 78 to 61. 62. 78 to 61. 78 to 62. Georgetown upsets Colorado. The final score being 84 to 71. Bonavart upsets LSU, Louisiana State, 67 to 60. And Michigan, the number 1 seed, takes down Texas Southern 90 to 66. To the round of 32, Illinois against Georgia Tech in the Midwest. Illinois wins. Or, actually, let's go to the South. That one actually is a better one to go to. Baylor against Wisconsin. Wisconsin upsets the Baylor Bears. A gigantic upset. Baylor being one of the 2 teams that's undefeated this year. Wisconsin hands them their first and only loss of the season and knocks them out of the tournament 75 to 72. Purdue ends Winthrop's run 68-58. Arkansas makes sure that there will be a new team as a new runner-up. No Texas Tech Raiders. They knock out the Red Raiders 78 to 69. Ohio State in a rematch of a national championship, of a few college football national championships. Ohio State taking down the University of Florida 81 to 75. In the Midwest, Illinois against Georgia Tech. So there you go. So Ohio State goes to the Sweet 16, Arkansas, Purdue, and Wisconsin. 3 Big Ten teams and 1 SEC team. Illinois beats Georgia Tech 73 to 61. Oklahoma State beats Tennessee. And just so you know, Wisconsin has been the only upset so far in the round of 16, in the round of 32. Oklahoma State beats Tennessee 66 to 58. West Virginia takes down Syracuse 82 to 61. And Clemson makes sure that the Houston woes continue in the round of 32. Clemson Tigers win and go to the Sweet 16. Clemson with a 79-70 overtime winner against the Houston Cougars. If you're wondering why Duke is not in this list, because Duke has been a perennial team, they didn't even have that great of a season by their standards, but they had a good season, and then they had a bunch of COVID lists, so they had to drop out of the tournament. First time in a quite long time Duke has had to do that. Gonzaga against Oklahoma. Gonzaga winning in the West Division. Gonzaga winning 89 to 70. 71. Creighton upsets Virginia. There will be a new champion, and the Blue Jays make sure that is the case. Creighton winning 78 to 64. To 68. 78 to 68. Kansas ends Drake's run 76 to 62. And Iowa ends Virginia Christian's run in the West. Iowa goes to the Sweet 16. Iowa winning 66 to 50. Really defensively locking down there. Georgetown beats North Carolina Greensboro, and they continue their run all the way to the Sweet 16. Georgetown winning 64 to 54. BYU defeats Texas 80 to 70 with an upset against Texas. So that is an upset, but I do believe BYU is an incredible team. So does Texas. Alabama takes down Maryland and continues their run as the 2 seed. The Crimson Tide rolling to a 71 to 64 to 60 to 65, a victory over the Maryland Terrapins. 66 actually, and number one, 71-66. Number or 71-65. 71-65. Just was juggling with three. 71-65. Michigan steamrolling Bonavert. Bonavert, what's that name? Bonavert. 86. Maybe that's too much points for them. 81 to 67. On to the Sweet 16. Gonzaga ends Creighton's remarkable run and goes to the Elite Eight. Gonzaga winning 76 to 68. Iowa downs Kansas to go to the Elite Eight out of the West. Iowa defeating Kansas, the Hawkeyes winning over the Jayhawks 75 to 70. Not in overtime, but it comes close. Purdue ends Wisconsin's great run, but there will be a Big Ten team, at least one in the South, going to the Elite Eight. Purdue winning 79 to 63. Ohio State, a young but extremely talented Buckeyes team, takes down Arkansas, meaning we'll have a Big Ten matchup in the Elite Eight in the South Division. Ohio State winning 79 to 73. 79 to 73. 79-72 in favor of Ohio State. 79-72. In the Midwest, Oklahoma State upsets Illinois. They take their miraculous run, because miraculous is a 4 seed to the Elite Eight. Is pretty special. Oklahoma State going there, and they win 85 to 81. Overtime win for Oklahoma State. West Virginia takes care of Clemson. The Tigers' run finally comes to a close, and the Mountaineers take them home to the Elite Eight. Play up against Oklahoma State with the win over Clemson, 75 to 65. And in the East, the one other team we also forgot, which we said BYU to Alabama, is Michigan, number 1 seed, taking care of Georgetown. Michigan beating Georgetown 70 to 63. In the Elite Eight, Ohio State eliminates Purdue to go to the Final Four. $70 to 65. Oklahoma State not Oklahoma State. Gonzaga defeats Iowa. Gonzaga goes to the Final Four. 79 to 70. 79-71. 79-71 Gonzaga over Iowa. They go to the Final Four. West Virginia and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State upsets the Mountaineers and they head to the Final Four. Oklahoma State winning 72 to 70 in a nail biter. And Michigan against BYU, the Wolverines, go to the Final Four. The second one seed that gets there. They win 78 to 70 to 69. 78 to 69 over BYU. To the Final Four. Ohio State and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State takes down Ohio State and goes to the national championship. What a run for the Cowboys. And they win 70 to 69. Ohio State makes a great last attempt that has a chance to go to the national championship, but they miss it. They miss the shot at the horn. That's all I think. Michigan against Gonzaga. Michigan wins 90 to 79. 90 to 81. 90 to 81. What a win for the Wolverines. And we go to the national championship game. Michigan, the 1 seed, one of the top teams expected to win the national championship against Oklahoma State. And a team that's good but has never thought to go incredibly far past a round or two. It's the 2003 Stanley Cup Final in the National Championship College Basketball realm, where the Oklahoma State Cowboys play the role of the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, and Michigan plays the role of New Jersey Devils, and the same result there. Michigan wins their first national championship since 1989. There's in basketball, their second in men's basketball history. 76-61, Oklahoma State had a great run, but their run comes to an end. The Wolverines beat the Cowboys with a 14-point victory in the national championship game. And finally, the Wolverines, Michigan, gets to the top. The whole world can hail to the victors. All right, everybody. Those are my picks. Again, I'll read them back really quickly. Gonzaga against Norfolk, Oklahoma against Missouri, Creighton against UCSB, was that again? Santa Barbara, Creighton against Santa Barbara, Virginia against Ohio, Drake against South California, Kansas against Eastern Washington, Virginia Christian against Oregon, Iowa against Georgia Christian. In the East, Michigan against Texas Southern, Boulevard against LSU, Georgetown against Colorado. Of course, all the teams staying against are the ones that I have winning. North Carolina, Greensboro against Florida State, BYU against UCLA, Texas against Alcorn, Maryland against Connecticut, Alabama against Iowa. In the South, Baylor against Hartford, Wisconsin against North Carolina, Winthrop against Villanova, Purdue against North Texas, Texas Tech against Utah State, Arkansas against Colgate, Florida against Virginia Tech, Ohio State against Oral Roberts, Illinois against Drexel, Georgia Tech against Loyola Chicago, Tennessee against Oregon State, Oklahoma State against Liberty, Syracuse against San Diego State, West Virginia against Moorhead, Clemson against Rutgers, Houston against Cleveland State in the round of 32 again, just to say that. Gonzaga against Oklahoma, Creighton against Virginia, Kansas against Drake, Iowa against Virginia Christian, Michigan against Boulevard, Georgetown against North Carolina Greensboro, Alabama against Maryland, BYU against Texas, in the South, Wisconsin against Baylor, Purdue against Winthrop, Arkansas against Texas Tech, Ohio State against Florida, Illinois against Georgia Tech in the Midwest. Oklahoma State against Tennessee. West Virginia against Syracuse. Clemson against Houston. Gonzaga against Creighton. Iowa against Kansas. Michigan against Georgetown. BYU against Alabama. Purdue against Wisconsin. Ohio State against Arkansas. Oklahoma State against Illinois. West Virginia against Clemson. The Elite Eight in the West: Gonzaga against Iowa. Michigan against BYU in the East. In the South, Ohio State against Purdue. Oklahoma State against West Virginia. Gonzaga, Michigan, Ohio State, and Oklahoma State head to the Final Four: the Bulldogs, the Wolverines, the Buckeyes, and the Cowboys. Cowboys beat the Buckeyes. They go to the national championship. Oklahoma State. Michigan goes to the national championship against Oklahoma State. Michigan beats Oklahoma State 76-61 in the Natty to win their first since 1989 and their second of all time. All right, so I will see you guys later for the live stream of my radio show, and also Michigan's first game tomorrow against Texas Southern on their quest for the national championship. Tomorrow, of course, and also Dallas Stars and Detroit Red Wings as well tomorrow from the Pizza Box, all Michigan. So, see you later. Bye, everybody. Happy hockey, everybody, and enjoy the March Madness college basketball tournament.